Hello, my name is Hathorian Elevation, and I am your host and facilitator for Real Insight, where we take everyday topics and dive deeper to get a deeper understanding and meaning behind the messages. Thank you for tuning in today. If you have not already, please hit the subscribe button and let me know you like the content and you want more of the content, and also like this video. Okay, let's get into today's topic. Today I want to talk about the trilogy about Kanye West titled Jeen-Yuhs. Okay, just a little, disclaimer, I guess, of being transparent. I did probably about a 1 hour recording of this topic earlier, and the topic that I want to cover from the trilogy Jeen-Yuhs is tapping into your own genius, your own inner genius. And I did a 1 hour recording earlier, and I don't know what was going on with my recording, but anyway, it was it like cut out huge chunks of part of the recording. Probably like, when I say huge chunks, I say like a minute, and a minute is really big when you're recording because you can say a lot in a minute. So anyway, I'm re-recording this, and I'm actually glad that happened the way it did, because it allows for me to really come and cut back on some of the things that I had covered in the 1 hour recording, and just narrow it down and really focus on tapping into your inner genius. One thing that I definitely want to, first of all, bring to light is that Kanye had a wonderful support system in his mother. And his mother allowed for him, or probably first gave him the push for him to excel at the level that he did. The importance of their relationship, you can see it throughout the trilogy. And you can also see how he then took what she was giving him, adopted that for himself, and he ran with that. Kanye knew he himself was a genius, regardless as to who agreed with him or not. He knew he was genius, and he knew that he could do anything that he chose to do and excel at a level that exceeded expectations from him. And that goes a very long way when you talk about tapping into your own inner genius. Not only having a support system, and that support system does not need to be a group of people. That support system can simply be one person that believes in what you're doing so much that it gives you wings to fly. It gives you wings to soar. And so having a support system that believes in you, and then you also believing in yourself and pushing yourself to the level where it's almost like nothing can touch you. Nothing can touch you. I don't want to even say almost, because it is like nothing can touch you. When you believe in yourself to the degree that you shut out anything that opposes what you're trying to reach or what you're going for, you really shut down that negativity or anything that goes against it, because you're at that point strictly focused on the goal that you have and reaching doing whatever's necessary for you to reach that goal. And when I say whatever is necessary, I don't mean that in a way that you're abusing and running over other people to reach that goal. Because if you've seen the trilogy, you look at the trilogy, you see that Kanye didn't do that. He didn't have to minimize other people. He didn't have to shut down other people. He didn't have to talk bad about other people for him to get to his level of where he wanted to be. And that's huge, because regardless as to what most people would probably think succeeding looks like, some people feel like in order for you to succeed, you've got to be able to step on people or be ruthless. And Kanye showed that that's not necessary. Kanye showed that you can love people, be tenderhearted, because Kanye is very tenderhearted, and that is not a negative thing. And just to kind of sidestep right quick, so many men and probably women too look at a man being tenderhearted as a negative thing. It's not a negative thing. It does, however, require that you know how to control that and not allow that to control you. Because Kanye's sensitivity allows him to be in touch with the masses, not just what he's going through, but in touch with the masses, people around him, and the world in general. And he mentioned that was his goal, was he's trying to reach the world. His goal is to spread his message of love to the world. And so by him being a sensitive person, that can be a very good thing, and it can also be something that gets you tripped up. It can be an obstacle if you don't know how to control that emotion, because that sensitivity is an emotion. The heart space is not an emotion. That's a center. That's a connection to everything around you. That's your feeler for everything around you. But his emotion of being sensitive, you can see where it helped him, and you can also see where that kind of can hurt him, especially when you're talking about, the news over the last few weeks or months or whatever. You've seen how, and years even, you've seen how over the years that Kanye's sensitivity has put him in positions to where it has hurt him. And I say hurt him only in the way that it has allowed for people to look at him and not take what he's saying to heart, but the fact that he's saying it. Because behind every message that Kanye has put out, he said a lot, but because he said it and didn't necessarily take thought as to how the others that he was saying it to would receive it, it's kind of left him in a place to be judged in a negative light. And that really isn't something that you should put too much weight in, because not everybody is going to understand you. Not everybody is going to agree with you, and that's okay. You have to know for yourself who you are, what your goal is, what your purpose is, and not allow any deterrent to take you off track with that. However, when the message is going out to the masses, and part of the masses are the people you're trying to reach, it can be misconstrued if you don't check that level of sensitivity to the point where the people you're delivering that message to can receive it in the right way. So in that way, it has been a hindrance and at times for Kanye getting his message out. But going back to this support system, you believing in yourself, you believing in everything that you are setting your goals to achieve. And you can see that through Kanye and his message that he was getting out to the world, you know, to not box him up and say that he's just a producer. His goal was to transcend being a producer to then becoming a rapper. And the group that he was around was like, you know, yeah, you dope producer rapper. And he was not feeling that. And that's part of tapping into your inner genius as well, is not allowing people to pigeonhole you because they see you as something, but you know that your goal for doing that one thing is really to catapult you to something else. But because they only know you for that one thing, they tend to pigeonhole you and say that this is all you are. And you have to be so convinced in what your purpose and goal is that you don't allow yourself to be pigeonholed. And you can definitely see that. The other thing that Kanye knew very well and knows very well is that he is a God, and not in a way that he believes he is God. He doesn't believe he's a creator of all. He said he is a God, and he believes he is a God.
God, everybody says, who does he think he is? I just told you who I thought I was, a God. I just told you, that's who I think I am. Would it have been better if I had a song that said, I am a nigga? Or if I had a song that said, I'm a gangster? Or if I had a song that said, I am a pimp? All those colors and patinas fit better on a person like me, right?
And that is not only for Kanye, that is for each one of us who has in us the power to create, the power to destroy, the power to give life. All of us are gods. Not the creator of all. So we're not supreme God, creator of all, but we are gods. In that we have the power to create, we have the power to give life, we have the power to destroy. Even the Bible says that. In the book of James, it says that the power of life and death is in the tongue. We create, we give life, we kill by the words that we speak from our mouths. And by Kanye stating that, I just told you who I believe I am. I'm a God. He understood that everything he spoke, he created. And so he spoke life and abundance and prosperity in everything he did. This clip that I heard where he was speaking to Sway. And, you know, that's where the whole meme, how Sway, you know, that's where that comes from. And he was talking to Sway about breaking into the fashion industry. Because now that he's excelled where he wanted to excel with production, music production. He's excelled where he wanted to excel with being a rapper. Now he's going to break into the fashion industry. He wants to break into the fashion industry.
Nike, Google. Now who's gonna be the Medici family and stand up and let me create more?
Or do you want to marginalize me till I'm out of my moment?
Or why don't you empower yourself and don't need them and do it yourself?
How, Sway?
Take a few steps back to go.
You ain't got the answers, man. You ain't got the answers. You ain't got the answers. You ain't got the answers, Sway.
Kanye.
I've been doing this more than you.
Doing what?
You ain't got.
Come on, chill out.
You
bro.
ain't got the answers.
Kanye,
you ain't got the answers.
I'm asking you.
You
a
ain't been doing the education,
bro.
You ain't been doing the education.
Kanye, calm down.
You don't have the answers though, because you trying to give me advice about something. You ain't got the answer. You ain't spent $13 million of your own money trying to empower yourself.
Yes, but I spent hundreds of thousands and putting out clothing lines at a smaller degree. All I'm asking you,
and it ain't no Ralph though. It ain't Ralph level.
Let me ask you this: I'm asking
what's the name of your clothing line? We don't know.
Kanye,
you know what I'm saying?
Because I lost money.
And he's like, how do you expect me to get in if they keep shutting me out? And it wasn't that he was shutting his own self out. He knew that the level he wanted to reach, that they were not allowing everybody in there. And so when Sway mentioned his own clothing line, he's like, is it on the level of a Ralph Lauren? Is it on the level of these very high fashion designers that make billions of dollars on their fashion? Because that's my goal. And if that's not what you're talking about, then you can't tell me how, Sway. You can't tell me how to get there. You don't know. You're not there yourself, so you don't know. I have to go to where the knowledge is. That means I have to go to the Ralph Lauren house or the, whatever, super fashion designer on that end, because I could care less, because, unless I got stock in it, I don't care. But that's the conviction that Kanye had. And it wasn't to demean Sway. It was really to say, I'm going at something that is at a greater echelon of what we've been able to achieve as Black clothing designers, because we've been shut out of that market. I'm going to break down the door in that market so I can show it's possible, and I'm going to pave the way. Now, I've heard people complain about the price that Kanye sells his clothing for. And I would ask, if you complain about how much Gucci, Louis Vuitton, Coach, Balenciaga, and all these other big name designers sell their clothing at. Because if you're looking for Kanye to make his clothing affordable to the masses and everybody, that's not his goal. His goal is to make it to a level to where he's sitting next to and contending with the Balenciagas and clothing brands of that echelon. So in order to be at that level, he has to price at that level, because his goal in him amassing all this fortune and money is not really to hold it to himself, because he's shown that he's not about holding it to himself. He's about sharing his wealth in a way that other people are able to be helped. He's reaching back, and he, and I believe it was in LA, he was trying to build these homes to help the homeless there, the homeless population. And he was shut down and had to go through red tape and all these things like that. But you can see where he's giving back. So it's not wealth just for the sake of wealth. It's wealth because he has a purpose and a goal for his wealth. And so that's the other thing in tapping into your own genius is, what is it, first of all, that you want to do? What is your purpose in life? And how well are you familiar with what your purpose is? and where you're planning on going. And what that determines is how well you're able to tap into that and not be blindsided or taken off track as to where you're going. And by focusing on what your purpose is, you understand that there are going to be obstacles. There are going to be obstacles that you're going to face on the way to your purpose. However, you have to be greater than your obstacle. And in that, you understand that you're a God over your circumstance. You are a God over your circumstance. And I said that, the power of life and death is in the tongue. That's in the Bible. So is, have you not heard that you are a God? Not only did Jesus quote that, but that's also in the Old Testament as well. Do you not know you're a God? So in that, you have to know not only your purpose so well, but then also on the way to reaching your purpose, how is that going to benefit others? Do you have a plan if your purpose is amassing wealth? Do you have a plan for the wealth that you're amassing? Because if you're just gaining just to gain and to say you have, there's going to be some short lifespan in that. Not that you will lose your wealth, but what will happen is you'll create trouble. There will be so many obstacles and troubles along the way that you'll not be fully content with having amassed that wealth. What is it that you would like to obtain? Tapping into this genius part, when Kanye mentioned to Rhymefest that he was a genius, and Rhymefest told him, I don't think you're a genius. I would say Jay-Z is a genius because I've seen him in the studio doing this, da, 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 da. And Kanye was like, I'm a genius. Who you consider as a genius or not a genius? And Rhymefest made a comment stating that, that's not for you to decide. That's for somebody else to decide. That's for somebody else to say about you. And would you really wait for somebody else to say you're a genius? And you see your vision, you see everything, you see your plan laid out before you. You know your purpose. You see before you how you're going to go and attack each thing to reach your goal. Would you really wait for somebody else to tell you you're a genius? I would say that if you're waiting for someone else to say you're a genius, to say you're intelligent, to say you're on the right track, you will be waiting a long time. And you will not be able to reach your goal because you're looking for someone else to give you accolades that you're really not giving yourself. So Kanye saying that he's a genius, absolutely. Speak life into yourself. Wake up with that purpose in mind. I am a genius. I am a purposeful. I am intentional in my actions. That's what the whole I am. That's what that is. It's speaking life into yourself. I am abundant. I am successful. I am wealthy. Like that's all that is that is activating your godhood, i.e. your inner genius, to tap into a frequency whereby you're now manifesting and creating the world in which you live. If you can't say that about yourself, nobody else is going to say that for you. Nobody else is going to say it for you because you don't even believe it enough to speak it to yourself. the entire trilogy with of Jeen-Yuhs with Kanye, I applaud Kuti for recording, that whole journey, because there are so many things that were recorded and played in that trilogy that we would have never really had an opportunity to know about Kanye from his beginning. Like, it's very rare to have that type of an inside look at a person. Like, you see the outcome, but you don't know what his beginning was. And to know now some of his beginning is like, that in itself was genius. To see this man, know his passion, be able to pick up on, his vision for himself enough to where you say, you know what? I believe so much in what you're saying that you believe about yourself that I'm going to record your journey. And that in itself was genius. That in itself was genius. Because now we have an inside track of the mind of a genius through the eyes of another genius. Because Kuti had to be genius enough to record that, knowing that, I don't see the end result, but I believe in him because he believes so much in himself. And that is the level of genius that we have to have for ourselves, is to tap into that Godhead on such a level that others are inspired through our conviction for ourselves. And there's so many different ways I could take this trilogy, because there were so many different things that I picked up on. There were so many different moments that I was inspired through in watching this trilogy. There were so many different things that I understood about Kanye, like the Kanye now, and related to what was in that in the trilogy for him. It's like I understand his mind on such a much bigger level now. I mean, I was appreciative and inspired by his mind before, by his genius before, but this behind the scenes look really gave me a much bigger level of respect for him and his genius, because I can see how his mind thinks from early on, that I can understand better how he thinks and moves now. The other thing too that I want to address is not everyone is willing to or believe that they're capable of tapping into that level of genius, tapping into their Godhead and tapping into their genius. You will find that there are those who can't do that for themselves, will be so quick to label you because you're able to do it. Either they will try to keep your mind very debased, where you remain approachable to them, or they will discourage you, or they will label you, i.e. crazy, or whatever. There are any number of names that people label things and people that they don't understand. Be aware of that. Understand that everybody is not going to understand your purpose and your goal. But it's not for everyone to understand your purpose and your goal. It's for you to understand it. And you to understand it on such a level that you don't allow anyone who doesn't understand it to deter you from your path and your purpose and your goal. And that is the message. That's the message. Being fully convinced, fully committed to your purpose and goal, that you don't allow anyone else to deter you from it. That's tapping into your inner genius. That is the key to tap into your inner genius. And your genius doesn't have to look like Kanye. It doesn't have to look like Albert Einstein. It doesn't have to look like anybody else's genius. It can look exclusively like your own. Because all of us have genius in us, depending on what it is that we choose to uncover and unlock. They say that nothing comes to a dreamer but a dream. But I would say that it starts with a dream. It does start with a dream. Because that dream then gives possibility for it to become reality. And if you can tap into your dream and move it from the dream state to a planning state, to a speaking state, then it can become your reality. And so yes, that's it. That's the message. That's what I want to leave you with. And I appreciate everyone for taking their time out and listening. I hope you were able to gain something from this message, this show. And I'm sure that the clips and other shows that I will be doing will reference back to this trilogy, Jeen-Yuhs. Because like I said, it was so packed, so full of so much information, so many nuggets, so much that it just took everything that I know for myself and it put it on a screen in a format the way that I could see someone else that understands that. And that is so inspiring to me. It's because it's so difficult to find people that move in that same vein. But that's not to discourage you from anything. It's just to let you know, yes, there are other people out there. It's not just you. It may be 100 people around you that don't get it, that don't get your vision, don't get your purpose, don't get any of it. Those are not the ones that you should be listening to. Encourage yourself until you get around the people that encourage you to continue to go higher, to reach deeper, pull out more, and expand your mind. That inspire you in such a way that you don't feel like there's anything that can hold you back. That's tapping into your inner genius. And until next time, have an abundant week, and I'll see you on the next show.